Okay, today I will give a tutorial how to convert your raw biological images, such as the file that is with a CZI format into the TIFF format or immerse format that is more uh, that is more frequently used. So this software, there are two components. The first component is a script. It's a VB script that can directly run on the Windows system. Another component is a immerse file converter, FileConvert.exe. This exe, if you have immerse installed, you can find in the immerse installation folders deep inside immerse convert.exe. If you do not have immerse installed, you can just copy this software from the EGS computers on these locations. You can just copy this folder out to your laptop for utilization. You can also download a copy of the immerse file converter from this website. Download for Windows and install. After install, you can get a folder like this. Immerse file converter also has the immerse convert.exe. So this two exes. So this two always the location is different because this one is incorporated into the whole immerse program. Well, this one is a very small converter that is free, but they are essentially the same. However, when you download from the website, you can always get the most updated version because the immerse they provide the most updated converters. For example, every year or every 2 years, or even more than one time per year. So the benefit is that because the microscope suppliers they update their softwares and they generate the image format that also with the same name, but the configuration in the content is how the image is stored may differs, and the old software may no longer recognize, so they either cannot convert the image, or you can get after converting you find that image looks weird. It's for example, left and right side and left side are diverted, so abnormal. So you are suggest to update to the new image file converter when you encounter problems. However, you should note that with the newer version, for example, the newest one is immerse 10.0.1. This immerse converter has stopped the support for the convert to the TIFF format. They only support for the immerse format. I think maybe because of the priority patent issue or something, intellectual property issues. So if you want to convert to the TIFF format, you can use the older versions. For example, immerse 68 or 9. I think most of them are okay. So you only use the new one when you encounter problems, but never try the new one at first, because they are discontinuing the support to convert to the TIFF, and which is very important. TIFF is more frequently used. So try first use the immerse 841 copy from the EGS computer, and you can copy to your local disk for utilizations. Okay, so let's now get started how to run the computers or run the converters. So there is a VBS file and a BAT files. So do not directly run the VBS because the VBS can be opened in two modes, a windowless mode or a window mode. But it depends on which computers. So to enable the run is always in the a console mode. So I use a CScript.exe to run this VBS script. So this will ensure that it is run in a black window. Okay, let's double click the bat. Oh.
Welcome.
Okay, you will then a series of questions will pop up. So the first question is where is the Emacs convert.exe. So let's avoid using the newest one, but always try the Emacs 8, Emacs 8 or Emacs 9. Let's copy this path. You can copy this and copy the name and connect them together with a slash. You can also install a path copy software. So you can just copy the long path, and just paste it here. This is the one I do not want to use. So I will paste. This is Emacs 4 version. So I think this 4 version you should always try first. Next, which folder to convert? So here I will, for example, there is a MG folder. In the MG folder, there is a control with several CDF files and a treatment one. You can also add more folders and more files if necessary. And so we want to process these folders. So we copy these folders and input here. So okay, that's next. So also convert subfolders at any depth. So usually we can place images directly in this folder or into the subfolders like control folders, or you can even place at deeper folders, something like that, 2 layers or 3 layers. It is unlimited. So if you want to just process the files that are located immediately inside these folders, but the case now is no files. If you place files here and also want to convert only these files, you should input 0. So the question is, in addition to immediately in the current folder, do you also want to convert subfolders at any depth? 0 means no, only convert this, and in this case there's no images. If you answer 1, usually the default is 1. It will convert anything inside this, with any depths inside these folders. So it is 1. Let's always keep it as 1. Next, write output. So do you want to place output TIFF or Emacs AMS files aside the raw images? Answer 0. So if you answer 0, after convert the TIFF or AMS will be placed nearby this. Another option is into a nearby parallel folder. With a parallel folder means if you convert these files, after the output will be in a normal folder with the same name, but with a tag like TIFF, like a TIFF tag if you want to convert to the TIFF images, or with the AMS tag if you want to convert to Emacs files. So usually I think this is better because it makes clear to separate the different image formats. So let's always keep at 1, right? Let's always keep at 1. Okay. Next, process which image format, and this is important because it depends on what's the kind of image. If you on the FBase 3000, you take the OIR image, and if you on the DICE, and your image maybe most of the image is CZI, so you just input CZI. Okay. Next, output image. If you want to output as Emacs files, you can just keep it as Emacs AMS. If you want to output as TIFF files, so you input TIFF. Because we now want to convert to TIFF, so I input TIFF. And the next, which TIFF output? So for the TIFF, it is a little bit more complicated because our image can have not only the XY but also the Z stack, and also a channel and the time series. So the CZT makes it complicated. So for the TIFF, we can there are 2 options. The first is a series adjustable. The second is OME TIFF. So let me explain what's the difference. So for the series adjustable TIFF, so it will split the raw image to many small images. With each image there is only x, y, and there all the c, z, t will be separated. For example, if you have the z is 3, the c is 2, and the t is 5, so it will split order. You get this 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 5, the image slices as separate files. However, if you want to convert as a whole TIFF, single TIFF, you can input the OME TIFF. Because the TIFF is no longer supported in the new immerse converter, so you should always use keep as 9 or 8 or 9. And another difference between this is if you use a series adjustable TIFF, it will add an additional tag, for example C001, Z001, T001, like this at the end to distinguish the different slices. However, if you use the OME TIFF, the file name will be still the same. Because there is only one TIFF file that has all the channels. So let's try we usually use the OME TIFF, because if we oversplit the images, they will be too difficult to analyze. Unless you only have a single Z and single T, and you just want to separate the channels, you can use that one. But with OME TIFF, it output as a whole. But we have further options to crop. So next is further options to crop. So we can see that the crop means we can crop the X, crop the X, and crop the Y, and crop the Z, and crop C, and crop T. For example, because the default is 0, so it will not be cropped. So everything will be exported. So the most frequently used is the channel, because we want to crop the channel. So this 2 is X, this 2 is Y, this 2 is Z, this 2 is 0, C channel, this 2 is T, the time lapse. So how to determine how to fill? For example, the most frequently used is this 2. So let's say if you want to crop the first channel, so let's place first is 1, right? 1 column, not column, upper column 1. Next, because this is 1 based, now we need to convert the 1 based to 0 based. So let's make it 0 to 0. So the 1 to 1 is closed end, and 0 to 0 is closed end. And this equation should be further converted to the open end. So the open end, right open end is second at 1. So it's 0 to 1, and this become a round bracket. So it is something in the algebra or mathematics. Yeah. So if we want to get channel 1, we should use 0, 1. If we want to get channel 3, we should have 3, 3, and make it 3, 4. Make it a 2, 2, and then 2, 3. Yeah. So it's like this. For example, if we want to get channel 2 and 3, you can get multiple channels, channel 2 and 3, but it must be connected. You cannot get channel 1, 3. That's impossible. So for the 2 and 3, we can use 2 to 3. That's easy, right? 2 to 3. And if there are 4 channels, you can even channel 2, 3, 4. 2 to 4. 2 to 4. You can 2 to 4. And then change to 0 based is 1 to 3. And open end is 1 to 4. Because this image has, I think, about 3 channels. So let's try the channel 2 to 3. Channel channel 2 to 3, so it's 2 to 3 becomes 1 to 2 becomes 1 to 3, so 1 to 3. So let's change it 1, comma 3. Okay, so this will extract the second and third channels. And okay, so this is the lower limit of the cells to convert the cells below the size below which will be ignored. The default is 0, so it will not ignore any cells to convert all the files. If you input 100, it means all the images with a file size less than 100 MB will be skipped. We do not want to do that, so it's 0. This is the upper limit. For the cells upper than that size, we will ignore. Usually I give it a very large number, so just keep it. Number of threads, and it's also default. Just do not change it, just keep it 2. And standby, computer standby finish, we do not want to standby, so just keep it as 0. And wait second before start, so we do not want to wait, we just want to immediately start, so let's click start. Okay, so now
all task was finished.
Okay, all the task is finished now. Because there's only one file, so we get our TIFFs located in a parallel folder, right? The treatment, and we can open the TIFF in the image. We can see that it is only we can get the 2 channels, right? Image adjust the 2 and the 3 channels. I think this is a DAPI. This is something like that. This is this stack. So we extract the 2 channels and all the Z and all the T, because there's only one time point. Usually we extract only one channel at a time, because we want to, when we're dealing with a channels, we want to deal with only a single channel by the following applications. For example, the LabKit machine learning, or the cell pulse prediction, cellular prediction. Most of them are one channel separated, but on rare occasions you can also combine as 2 channels for the analysis. Next, I can also try the immerse files. Let's try again to convert to immerse files, because this is also frequently used. Okay, let's run again. Now is input the immerse file converter. Copy long pass. Control V. Next, and input the file. This one. Control C. Control V. Yes, and depth. Usually you just keep it default. And we change CZI and AMS default. We just press all the way to the end. It will convert to the AMS files. It's very fast.
All task was finished.
Okay, this is the immerse file format. Because this is this stack, so it's not a single slice. We can see that on the upper slice it's very dim, and in the middle it's strong, and in the lower it's very dim. So usually to deal with this kind of image, we can do a maximum intensity projection to make it as a single one. For example, let's use a TIFF to make a demonstration. We open the TIFF in the image.j. Okay, this is the 2 channels. Okay, there are 2 channels. and with a Z. So if you want to if you want to make it a color, you can image lookup tables, make it red. Image lookup table, make it green. Okay. We do this stack. The maximum property inject. This should be in the Z project, in the stacks. Z project to maximum intensity, start stress to end stress. Okay. Now there is no Z dimension. It is only C, and it is a maximum intensity projected. Yeah. Okay.